What's up, Gunpla modelers? This is Strider Prime bringing you a new edition of Gundam Customs, and today I am going to build this guy. The 1/100 scale Master Grade MS-18E Kampfer from Mobile Suit Gundam War in the Pocket OVA series. By an overwhelming demand of all you guys, I asked everyone last month what kit I should make beginning this summer, and you guys wanted to see the Kampfer. And I had to say thank you. Thank you very much, because this is a kit that I have been waiting for a very long time to build. A little background story here. I've had the Kampfer, I had this model kit version in a long time ago. I don't know, it was either 2002, 2003. I purchased it. I had it, but I never built it. And somewhere along the line, and I don't know when, I decided to sell it. Don't know why I decided to do that, but I did. Regretted it years later, especially when my YouTube channel started and it gained notoriety and it picked up, you know. My skills as a model builder has improved significantly, you could say, and I began to sort out model kits that I was like, okay, why did I get rid of it? Why did I sell it? And fortunately enough, a few years ago, I picked this guy up, and I've again have it in storage again. And now I want to. I said to myself, should I build it this year? Should I build it next year? Whatever. Obviously, my backlog is huge and still getting bigger. But it was to the point. It got to the point where I said to myself, okay, what kit should I make? I showed you guys all the kits. In reality, I secretly wanted to build this, but I did not know what everyone's opinion was for the Kampfer. But I completely forgot the fact that Kampfer was one of those unique mobile suits that we all remembered from 0080. I mean, when it was first introduced in that anime, everybody was going completely bonkers. It was completely out of the norm. It was not the standard mech that you normally see from the Zeon side. You know, it's not a Zakutu. It's not a Gelgoog or a Dom. It was nowhere near a Goof or a Gaian or Zaku 1. It was its own unique variation. Yes, it was a prototype. Well, no, it's not a prototype, because if that was the case, this would have been referred to as the prototype Kampfer, which is something that we will talk about another time. But I will mention it constantly. But the Kampfer was definitely used during the 1 year War in the Pocket anime by the Zeon Cyclops team when they went to assault the colony just so they can destroy the Alex, which of course they were able to. This single mobile suit piloted by an elite was able to take on a couple of mobile suits here and there before it met its demise against the Alex. And I remembered the high grade version, the original high grade version, which never got it, but later on I forgot it was plagued with inconsistencies and problems. Not the best kit to get at the time. This one, of course, was introduced in 2001, and I've heard many good things, and many bad things. Now, you got to understand, Kampfer came out in a time where high grades was gaining popularity. It was not it was not like we have today, where the engineering and and the overall design was top notch. Back then, it was they knew that we build the inner frame, fine, outer armor, in good, weaponry, fine, give it more detail, give it more parts. But then you go from something that was made back in the early years of Master Grades compared to now, and you see notable differences and fixes. That's why we have a few 2.0s here and there, or version Katokis, which take the original and either update it in its detail or its inner frame construction. I built the Alex last year, and the Alex, I remembered I had the original 1.0 Alex, which had that issue with the knees, and they corrected that situation with the updated version of the Alex. Now, I have gone and commented on the fact that should we get a 2.0 Kampfer? I cannot say that 100% yes we should, because I've never built the original Kampfer. Yet many people has agreed with me, which is okay, I understand, but remember, the 2.0 version supposedly supposed to fix issues from an original model kit and enhances it a bit more. Enhancement is fine. You can scribe it, you can cut parts off, put parts on, make it a lot more better. It's understandable. But in its overall construction, how does it fare out? I know that I've seen the Kampfer built at some facility. I forgot where it was. Some guy was building it, and I noticed the areas of the shoulders where that definitely needs to be worked on. There's going to be parts that I know I'm going to be heavily sanding down and maybe touching it up or something like that. So we're going to explore that during the course of this build. I want to modify it, of course. One of the big things that this kit has is a lot of ports and vents, and this opens up the possibility of photo etch parts, which I have an abundance of. I did do a search on custom photo etch parts that was made specifically for the Kampfer, and I've seen it for years, but that's pretty much a little higher end on the spectrum of price. And if I wanted to, I would have gotten it, but no, I'm okay with this, and I do have a lot of parts that I would like to see if it works with this or not. So I'm not knocking the fact that enhancing it with parts that was specifically designed for this would make it better. You can always find other ways to enhance a kit. It doesn't have to be specifically, it could be something else, and even makes it even better. Now, Kampfer has gone through many versions out there in scale. I mean, obviously we have the 144 scale. We have the high grade version, which I built a long time ago. For those of you who don't remember, I made a diorama build using one of the Kampfers, and I built I did a metallic paint job of the Amazing Kampfer, which you can't find these days. It'd be nice to get my hands on that again. And if you're asking me I should turn this into Amazing Kampfer, no, I don't think I can do that. Sorry. Not that I don't want to, just that I don't think I have the. I don't think I can do it. I really don't. And we have the 1/100 scale. There's other kits out there by that, like the Devan version of Kampfer, which is referred to as the Master Grade Kampfer Kai. I see it at Gundam Central for about $55 if anyone's interested in getting that. There is a Poison Toy 1/72nd scale Breaker Mechanic or Mechanic Cyclops version at 1/72. That is sold out in certain areas. And let's not forget the G-Systems version of the Kampfer, which is at 1/60 scale. Now, G-System, that's a lot of money. That is a tremendous a lot of money. You're talking about close to maybe $200 to $300. That is a resin kit beast, and it looks good, really does, as you can see here in the pictures. But it's too much for my taste, and I just want to focus on this guy that pretty much is the talk of the town for everybody out there. I also got my hands on the what do you call it? The G-Systems Kampfer, the FA version, which when I'm done with this, I may move on to that to build that, along with the Alex, just to finish up my 0080 kits that I've had in storage and I purchased for this one. Anyway, thank you again for voting for this. I'm going to do it the best I can, customizing, detailing it, painting it. Don't know yet. I'm going to be. I haven't thought of ideas. As much as I like blue, I may stick with blue, but we may go a little further than that. Now, one of the best gimmicks, of course, it's its overall weaponry, which you have everything here to make this kit unique. You have the chain mine, the 2 shotguns, you have the Stormfaust, which, of course, there should be another one of this, but they're showing off the one where it's in flight. You have 2 bazookas, the connection to the bazookas, 2 beam sabers, the connection to the rifles as well. I don't know if no, this was actually for this. I don't know if both shotguns can be placed on it. And we all remember the chain mine from Unicorn Gundam, which was used by that other mobile suit, which I cannot pronounce. It would have been nice if it came with the case, so that way you can fold up the mine plates on top. In the anime, we all remember that it was stuck inside the truck, so that's something that we all hope for. Maybe it would have been something included into this, but we don't remember that. You do have some hands, which are manipulator hands. I don't know if they're regular manipulator or they're solid, but I think they're more manipulator. And one thing, of course, that I wish this was brought back in Unicorn Gundam. It would have been an amazing addition to the Zeon Remnants when they were attacking Torrington base. There's a lot of thrusters here. I completely forgot about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's 2 there, 10, 11. Not to mention the thrusters here on both sides of the shoulder. It would have been nice if there was another spike there. If it was multiple spikes, that'd be great. The inner frame details amazing here. That folds, okay. You can definitely simulate the scene where it's flying, or hovering, you could say. One of the best glass cannons Bandai has ever made for the series. Really top notch. So we have a nice little poster size picture of the Kampfer, how it looks. This is something that I'll definitely try to find a big frame to put on. Alright, so we have the plate for the orange. Now you want to do orange, you want to do yellow. That's all subjective, of course. We have rub-on road transfer decals, of course. The blue parts, the charcoal parts, interframe parts that we have here. Beam saber effect parts, or interframe parts there. One of the mine plates. That has to be the part for the chest. I see some fingers. I see some pilots. We have a wire for the part for the chain mine and some tubing. I know this has to be for the waist area. Then we have the blue parts that makes up the armor parts. I wonder how, I mean, it's obvious that, you know, when you look at the shoulder parts here, it's like right down the middle. So I don't know if these are parts that you have to clamp it over the actual joint of the shoulder, and you have to, you know, glue it and sand it down, or can it be glued together and then plopped right over it? We don't know. I never looked. I'll have to review the manual. Clearly, somebody's going to comment on this video saying that, well, I built this, and either yes or no what you're saying. So the main body parts. Here are the weaponry, the bazooka, and the shotgun. And interestingly enough, you do get, I see an extra, what do you call it, stock for the shotgun. So it's doubled up here. More blue parts for the feet. Possibly for the arms as well. And we have some darker parts here. This is probably for the leg area. Open hands. That's cool. I have that. There's the polycaps, interframe parts of the chest area, and then the remaining parts that makes up the chain mine, and of course screws. One of the, remember, early versions of the Master Grade kits come with screws, so you can tighten it up. And then here is the manual. I'm going to put that here. Put this away. This is going to be very, very enjoyable. Get to the side. Let me prepare the table so we can review the manual. Okay. Here's a beautiful illustration line art of the MS-18E Kampfer. E stands for experimental, but I think that, there's another term for it. I actually recently watched Kakarat's video of the Kampfer. It's an old video, but it was pretty nice to see it as a mental refresher of what I'm going to prepare making it for. But here is the parts guide. I don't see no X's anywhere here. Oh, okay, I do see some X's here. I see 4 parts not being used on this plate, and quite a bunch here on the PE parts. All right. Don't know what these are. Part name of Kampfer. Oh, so the name of the parts. Interesting. That's kind of neat. Obviously, back then, they didn't think about translating this into English. Interesting. So the giant bazooka is referred to as a giant BAZ. Maybe somebody forgot to write down the rest of the bazooka word. Alright, so in the next page you have the arm unit assembly. Good detail. Very nice. And on this page you have the illustration of what the parts look like. You know, like a cross section, like see all the internals. Looks really nice though. Just reviewing this. Amazing detail work here. Continuing with the assembly of the arm and then shifting over to the leg unit. This does have an open hand and of course manipulator hands. And here of course is what the continuation of the leg unit illustration and the weaponry. Giant Baz. Okay, maybe that's how it is, the Baz. We have, of course, a detailed look of the Kampfer, already built and painted, and here is the paint guide. Now, the most obvious paint is blue. We already know that, and it's kind of like a milky blue color tone, with a little bit of gray and light bluish tone, with charcoal color, darker tone, the yellow, which represents the thrusters, the brown, actually that's not a brown, that's green, and after reviewing it, it's actually part of the bazooka and the Stormfaust. Actually the weaponry does not look green, most likely it's the Stormfaust. And then the pink, hot pink, must be for the mono eye, because I don't see any other colors. Maybe it's the sensor pod, the sensor array on the bazookas. Moving on to the leg unit assembly, the inner frame parts, obviously screwing the parts in, tighten it up. And then the armored parts all over it, both left and right. Then we have the assembly of the head unit. Wow, a lot of parts of the head unit. Didn't realize that until now. It is a bigger kit, so that could compensate that. And actually didn't realize that the head unit also reminds me of that's on the Drosy. Then the body assembly right here. The tubing that goes around it for the torso. And then the assembly of the waist unit. Oh my god, the waist unit is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts for the waist unit. So 8 parts. 9. Wow. Then the weaponry, the chain mine, the giant Baz. How to set up the Stormfaust weaponry. And the connections, how to connect it from the backpack. And then finally, decaling. A few parts of the decals, but we're going to definitely look into decals that I've had for other kits that will probably benefit for this kit. And of course this is what it looks like from behind. Very nice. Very nice. Well, with all this, with clearly got my work cut out here because I don't know how to approach this and you know, we're gonna look at each part step by step and discuss whether if it benefits a 2.0 or maybe a Katoki. But let's now talk about not only painting but detailing it. Or you could say customizing it.